It is kind of chilly in St. Louis, but it's okay. We're all here together, and I'm excited to have you all. We have over 200 people actually registered for this training today, which makes me very excited that you all are actually getting ready for Give STL Day. A few housekeeping things that I just want to cover. If everyone could just ensure that their microphone is on mute until we have questions at the end, or until we actually open it up for that, just so we can limit feedback, so that way we don't hear everyone's background noises. Also, we will try to take questions throughout the training in the chat. Myself and Emily Kaiser, my other teammate on the Give STL Day team, we'll try to answer these as we go. We'll try to make this as informal as possible, but recognize that these trainings do typically take the full hour and a half. It will be recorded, so if you can't watch or stay for the entire training today, you will have an opportunity to go back and watch it. We will send it out to everyone via email, as well as post it to our actual training page if you need to go back and watch it, along with the slide presentations. That way, if you need to share with your board or volunteers or any other staff members, you have this information. Also, this training is also a refresher, as well as a please put everybody on mute, thanks. This training will be a refresher, but also it will be covering a few other items that are new this year with the new platform. So I just want to make sure and level set with everyone if this is not what you are expecting, but this will definitely be information that I think everyone will need to know. Some stuff will be familiar, some stuff will not. So with that, I just want to thank everyone again for coming. I am Neosha Franklin, and I'm the Director of Communications at St. Louis Community Foundation. And I've been at the Community Foundation for about 5 years, and this is my 4th Give STL Day that I've planned and have been a part of. I see a lot of familiar faces on the screen, so welcome for all of our returners, and welcome to all our new folks. So just to get a little bit of engagement, can people put in the chat what organizations they are representing today? I just want to kind of get a feel for who's in the room. That would be awesome. And while you do that, I'll let my colleague, Emily Kaiser, introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Kaiser, and I'm the Communications Associate at the Community Foundation. If you've emailed us questions about Gives Day, I am usually the person who answers those, so I'm sure I've talked to a lot of you. I've been at the foundation for a little over a year, and this is my 2nd Gives Day, 2nd completely virtual Gives Day. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. So yeah, so all of our trainings this year will be virtual. Obviously, we're still, practicing social distancing and trying to remain safe and healthy. And I see there's so many organizations in the chat. I'm so excited to see my people. Definitely Rebuilding Together St. Louis, Logan, Concordia.
I'm on the Zoom meeting now. Everyone,
please be sure to mute your audio, so that way we can get through the training. So we'll get started. We'll try to mute people as we go, but recognize there's only a couple of us. So if you can just help us do that, that would be awesome.
I don't know how to mute anything.
All right, let me go through and see. I can mute people. We'll do that. There we go. All right. So as I said before, if you have questions, you can post them in the chat as we go, and we will try to get going as quickly as we can. So. All right, so welcome to Give STL Day, and we are excited that you are here. Welcome to all our returners. Welcome to all of our new individuals and new nonprofits that are taking place. Go ahead, Emily. All right, so this year, Give STL Day is presented by the Burgess Family Foundation. They are our presenting sponsor, but also Give STL Day is powered by the St. Louis Community Foundation. And the St. Louis Community Foundation, if you are not familiar with us, we have been around for over 100 years, and our mission really is to support the St. Louis community, but we really work to inspire purposeful philanthropy that connects community and donors to build and preserve a more equitable and vibrant region now and forever. So with that, we work with our donors to help them with their charitable wishes, help them give back to community, and help them figure out what nonprofits do they want to support, as well as how they want to leave a legacy in during their lifetime in St. Louis. So if you are new to Give STL Day, you probably are like, what is this big day of giving? Or you may have heard about it. So it's a 24-hour day of giving from midnight to midnight. And it's an online day of giving that truly brings our community together. And it's truly the Community Foundation's commitment to our nonprofit community. This is the 8th year that we have done Give STL Day, so I'm really excited about that. We started this in 2014, and collectively we've raised over $17.5 million. You all and your donors, as well as all of the community in St. Louis, $17.5 million over the last 8 years, which is really incredible and nothing to sneeze at.
Does TTR.
So today, can you please mute? Thank you. So the online technology provider, this may look a little bit different for you all. We talked a little bit about in a couple of years, if you're familiar with the platform. Civicor was our main technology provider, but now Civicor has actually merged with Neon One. So you may have gotten an email from a Neon One email address or something that has come through via email, and you're probably thinking like, what is this? Well, this is just the technology provider platform that allows you to actually go in and sign in and actually access your dashboard, your profile, and all of your data and donor information for the day. So don't get confused. Neon One is the giving day, and Civicor falls up underneath the umbrella of the giving day. And so I just want to make sure that people are familiar with that as they have merged together in the technology space.
Okay, so if you are new to Give STL Day and you have not yet done so, you can register now at givestlday.org. You have until April 26th to register, and you just go to givestlday.org, and in the top right corner, you'll see login, and you'll click nonprofit, and there'll be an option to register as a new organization. If you are a returning nonprofit, you may have seen some emails about the single sign-on process. This is a new single sign-on experience, and if you have not yet done so as a returning organization, you'll need to follow these steps to reset your password. So you go to givestlday.org and you hover over login in the top right corner here, and you'll click nonprofit. This will take you to this page where you'll click login as a returning organization. And then you'll be taken to the Neon Giving Days login page, and you'll see this forgot your password prompt. Click that and then type in the email address that's associated with your nonprofit account for Give STL Day, and then click send reset password email. This will automatically trigger an email. It's from Neon Sign-In, and it will look like this, and this is what you'll follow to update your password. If you don't receive the email within about 10 minutes, check your junk and spam, and if you still don't receive it, reach out to us and we will get it figured out for you.
What's that at?
And then once you receive the email and reset your password, if everyone can please
It looks really great, but because the countertops are white, now I just realized that our backsplash is not white. It's like,
okay, and so you'll be taken to this page when you log in and you can complete your registration. If you are unsure if you have participated, if you don't know if you've participated in the past, like last year or in 2019, 2018, when you register, you'll enter your nonprofit EIN number. And if there's an error, email us at info@stlgives.org. Make sure in the subject you put registration, new user account. Provide the name of your nonprofit, the name of the contact who will manage the profile, that contact's title, and the contact's phone and email. And Neosha or myself will get back to you letting you know if you've participated before, and we can go from there.
All right, thank you, Emily. So yes, so if you have questions about registration, be sure to send us an email at info@stlgives.org. All right, so Give STL Day statistics. I just want to go over some things that we had over last year from 2020. Last year, even in the middle of a pandemic, we raised $4.5 million, which is the most money we've ever raised on a giving day to date. So that's really, really exciting for our community, and that just really showed the generosity of our community. We had over 38,000 donations, over 20,000 donors, 977 nonprofits received donations on the giving day, and we had a record-breaking number of fundraising campaigns at 535, and we will actually talk about those later on in the training. Also, just to provide a little more context for how donations dollars were raised by category, I like to present this information just so you have an idea of how our donors in our community are actually giving on the day. Last year, Human Services raised the most amount of dollars at $437,000. A lot of those dollars went to organizations that were really putting dollars in supporting the community during the pandemic. And we saw a lot of new nonprofits and a lot of new donors come through the Transium on our Give STL Day last year, which was really, really great. Next, this is information that I like to provide as well so you can understand who the audience is as a collective. This may not be specific to your individual organization, but we use this information to really figure out our marketing strategy. And so on Give STL Day last year, most of the donors that gave on that day were between the ages of 25 and 34, and then following that was the age of 65. Surprisingly, this is a little bit different from years past, but men were actually the most individuals that actually gave last year at 73%, and women who gave were 26.8%. Yes, these slides will be shared after the training, and Give STL Day is May 6, 2021. Top cities and countries that participated in Give STL Day. Yay, St. Louis actually made the top list. In years past, we typically do not, which is it's always been interesting. Then followed by Chicago, and then Maryland Heights, Kirkwood, and Florissant. And then we also looked at the countries that made a donation on Give STL Day. We went all the way from the US to the Netherlands to the United Kingdom. And this is just interesting for me and for our team because it lets us know that people are giving in different ways from all around the country, and not just and not just during our not just during in the United States. So how do we help you with this day? This day really is all about the nonprofit. So what we do at the Community Foundation is we coordinate the community effort. So we invest in the giving platform. So this is a free day for you to participate. There are no registration fees. We were discussing that in previous years, but decided not to go down that route. So we invest in the Giving Day platform, we raise awareness, and then we actively fundraise to offer prizes and incentives for the nonprofits to actually win and participate on the day. One way that we actually raise awareness for the day, so it's up to you as an organization to actually steward your donors and get your social media campaigns going to actually build a campaign for the day on May 6th. We actually raise awareness through media exposure. So we invest in some billboards, we use metro buses and shelters, radio, TV. We work a lot with our local Channel 4 and Channel 5, KMOV and KSDK stations. In the past, we've actually done live in-person events at the Community Foundation or at a particular nonprofit. Obviously, right now in the middle of a pandemic, those options are not available to us. However, we will probably reach out to some nonprofits to do some feature stories if we actually have that as an opportunity again this year to feature various nonprofits. And I really try hard to get nonprofits that we've not featured before, but also smaller micro organizations who may or may not always get an opportunity to be featured in the media. We also work with our local newspapers, the St. Louis Business Journal, the American, the Post-Dispatch, and we do a ton of digital promotions on the day of. So what we do is we really bring awareness to the day, and we do not highlight one particular nonprofit and a lot of those particular promotions, but we really are trying to really raise philanthropy for the entire community. So this is just an example of what we've done. This is what we did with KMOV last year. We take over their homepage. We also do a lot of things on Facebook and email blasts, and we do a lot of, if you see at the bottom with the Show Me St. Louis, we were able to feature a red circle last year as a nonprofit in the Giving Day, which is really cool. So just showing you that we actually do spend our dollars wisely and trying to really create a marketing campaign to help support you as much as possible. So outside of us actually generating awareness externally, we need you to help generate awareness internally. So the one way to do that is to make sure that your board and your staff know that you're participating in the day. It's interesting how many emails and things like that I get afterwards that says like, hey, I didn't know we were doing this, or why didn't I know about it? We try really, really hard to really communicate as much, probably over communicate to you all. So just be sure that your staff and your board know that you are actually participating. It's really important too to assign your staff and board roles before, on, and after Give STL Day. We do this at the Community Foundation. Right now it's Emily and I, we're doing all the behind the scenes work right now getting everything prepared. But on the day, it's all hands on deck. Our finance team is involved, our donor services team is involved, to really make sure that we're actually offering the experience that we need to be able to answer donor questions, respond to nonprofits. But you all need to do the same thing. Talk to your staff, talk to your board members, get your board to get on the phone and call and thank donors, or get staff to call and thank donors, or send emails, whatever you need to do to really make sure that your day is going to go well and that you can steward your donors throughout the process. And create your strategies and activities so everyone knows what's going on. If you're going to start your campaign 4 to 6 weeks out, which is what typically most nonprofits do, then create that integrated marketing campaign and actually share that with your team so everyone is aware and they're constantly sharing that information with their networks as well as with your donors. And then also what's also very helpful, at the foundation, we create a big binder with a lot of FAQs and frequently asked questions with screenshots of how things work. So that way, if myself or Emily or another teammate is not available, there's no way for anyone to not know or not know exactly what's going on. So we actually plan a staff day to where we go through all the logistics of the day, how it will work, what's our media day, everything. So that way we can actually know if everyone knows what's going on. Looks like there's a question in the chat, question about privacy security for donors through Neon One Civicor portal. Yes, so donors, they can create actual user accounts on the actual portal, and all of their information is secured. It's not being reshared or anything like that. So there is definitely privacy settings on there for every donor that creates an account and gives on the actual day. Continue on, please. Okay, so not only do we generate awareness for you, we need you guys to do the same thing too. So I'll let Emily go ahead and talk about this.
Yeah, so another effective way to get the word out about Give Day is for you, the nonprofits, to spread the word. So that's why we provide tools and resources to make it as easy as possible for you all to let your audiences know about Give STL Day. All of these resources are customizable, so be sure to make them your own. The resources such as social media graphics, sample communication timelines, sample social media, and more are located on Dropbox, and I'll post the link in the chat here in a minute. And they are also located on your resource center within your nonprofit dashboard, and I will show you exactly where that is on your dashboard later in the training. If you have trouble accessing the Dropbox link or the resource center, just reach out to us and let us know. Another new resource that we created this year is the Give STL Day Nonprofit Collaborative Community on Facebook. In the survey results from last year, a lot of you expressed wanting to communicate and collaborate with other nonprofits in order to find out best practices or how other nonprofits have had success on Give Day in the past. The Facebook group is for exactly that. We want it to be collaborative and there to be conversations going on where you can help each other out, and just another way to ask us questions and communicate with us. I've been posting updates and announcements in the group, so it's really beneficial to join. Anyone associated with your organization can join: employees, board members, volunteers. When you join, there's a few member questions to let us know who you are and what organization you are with, so make sure you answer those. Right now, I think there's about 44 people in the group, and I know there's a lot of you, so I'm going to post the link in the chat as well, so you all can join right now and we can get it up. So on the Dropbox link and within the Resource Center, you'll find pre-made graphics that I have created specifically for Give STL Day that you can use on social media, in emails, on your website. There's a variety of graphics with different messages that we encourage you to use, and I'll be adding more as time goes by. I've also added the images that I've used within these graphics, so you can see here the hands and the building and the Give STL Day buttons. So feel free to create your own using those images. Just make sure you have the Give STL Day logo on your graphics, which can also be found in that Dropbox link and in the Resource Center. All the graphics I made are very general. I made sure not to use any images that relate to specific nonprofits so that everyone can use all of them. So as I mentioned, utilize the pre-made graphics or create your own. Graphics are just another way to amp up social media, emails, and your website. Call to give graphics like the ones you see here are extremely important to get people to givestlday.org and get them to donate. Make sure you include the link to givestlday.org or your specific nonprofit page on your graphic or in the copy so people know exactly where to go. Infographics are another way to show information about your nonprofit. It's a way to show your audience your impact or end of year numbers or your numbers from last Give STL day. Videos and images are really impactful, especially if they tell a specific story about your nonprofit. Memes and GIFs can also be used when appropriate. So for example, if you meet your Give STL day goal, you could do a post and use a little clapping emoji like the one I have on the slide. And as I mentioned before, telling stories is super important. That's what really draws donors in. Hearing how their dollars can help a child or a dog or vulnerable communities. So make sure to tell your stories and make sure to use visual with everything you send out. It really catches people's eye more than just a ton of copy. So I make all of the foundation's graphics and graphics for Give Day using Canva. That's actually what I use to make this entire presentation. It's super easy for anyone to create graphics on Canva, and I love it. So I highly recommend using it if you don't already, especially if you don't have a specific person that does graphic design. This is super simple. Also, some of you may already know, but Canva Pro is free for nonprofits. You have to already have a Canva account and be a 501c3. So if you do not have a Canva account, you can create one at canva.com. Just create a regular account and you will use the email associated with the account to sign up for Canva Pro. If you are an organization with a fiscal sponsor, reach out to your fiscal sponsor and ask them if they have a Canva Pro account. And if they do, ask them to add you as a team member so you can get all the capabilities of Canva Pro. If they do not have a Canva Pro account, ask them for their EIN number and 501c3 letter so you can sign up and have access to all of the Canva Pro elements. We applied for it and I think it took about a week or two to get our Canva Pro capabilities, so it does not take long at all. And I will post the link in the chat where you can go to apply for this. It's canva.com/Canva for nonprofits. And you'll go to the page and click this purple apply now button. And it's just a super simple application. I think it took me about 5 minutes to fill out. Like I said, it will ask for your IRS determination letter. And then I believe it asks about your mission and what you accomplished in the last year. I highly encourage all of you to get Canva for nonprofits. It will just help elevate your graphics and make it easier to collaborate with other team members. So here are just a few tips about creating graphics on Canva. Obviously, different things work for different brands, but these are just the rules that I like to follow, and I've provided an example so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So stick to about 2 fonts. 2 or 3 fonts will work. Make sure that the fonts look good together, but that they are contrasting. Like you see in the example, we have the bold white font, and then we use the bubble letters a lot within our brand. It's just a more engaging font and contrasts well with the other ones that we use. Also, limit your color palette. So in this graphic you see here, we have the blue overlay, and that's actually 2 different blues if you can tell. And we have the white font, and then we have the pop of color with the yellow 6 and the date. Next, keep it simple. As you see here, there's not a lot going on, and I just tried to make sure there wasn't too much going on in all of the graphics I created for you. It just has the necessary information as to not overwhelm whoever is looking at it, and so they get the point of what the graphic is trying to tell them. Next, use clear and crisp imagery. So even though the image here is covered by the blue overlay, it's still clear and you can tell what it is. And that's actually another benefit of Canva Pro. You get access to a lot more images and they're all super clear. So that's another great thing about that. And make sure you include your logo in every post or every graphic that you create. It just helps create brand awareness and people will know exactly what they're looking at when they look at your graphic. So to see examples of other graphics or social media copy and get some inspiration, we recommend searching hashtag Give STL Day on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find posts from other organizations like the ones you see here. I just searched these a few weeks ago, so they're all from last year. And as you can see, these 3 created their own graphics and they added the Give STL Day logo, which we do recommend. And so if you're struggling with your social media plan and you need some examples, search the hashtag and you can just get a lot of different examples of what works for other organizations, which is great.
All right, let's talk about prizes and incentives. So I hope everyone gets that excited on that photo when you guys win a prize on Give STL Day. The way that we do prizes and incentives, if you can advance to the next slide. So what we do at the Community Foundation is that we actively fundraise through sponsorships and partnerships with different corporations and businesses in the local community to actually create the prize pool, essentially, is what we do. And the Community Foundation, I just want to reiterate too, we don't make any money off of this day. So any funds or sponsorship dollars goes right back into the Give STL Day Fund to be used for the prizes and incentives, as well as any other exciting incentives that we have on the actual day. So what we do is, these are just the standard ones that we get. If we get more dollars, we will definitely add more in. I just want to reiterate, please put your phone on mute. So we do hourly prizes. So there's a $1,000 prize for every hour. So that's a total of $24,000. We offer 6 power hours at $20,000 at each hour. So it's $120,000. And then we offer 2 early giving prizes at $500 each. And then we're also going to do next year, or this year actually, an early giving prize and a first and last donation prize. So,
always tells us it's just one.
So the way that we actually determine prizes and incentives, we do it by budget category. So when you sign up for your organization, you get to select between micro, small, medium, and large. We used to only have 3 categories, but based off the nonprofit feedback that we've gotten over the years, there were some nonprofits who just kind of were on the cusp of, well, we're kind of really like small or micro. So we added that extra category a couple years ago. And so when you select this, please note that this is your budget. Your budget is your organization's annual operating budget. This is not your program budget. So obviously, this is why we say, is it $1 million to $2 million? I don't think a program is $1 million. Well, maybe it could be. But just so you know, please use your annual operating budget. Also, please note that there are 2 ways this year in which you can identify your mission categories. This will be very important for you to know. So last year we actually had some feedback that people were saying that they were actually in 2 categories and not just 1. So some say that they're in education, but then some say that they're in schools, or, you know, they cross the lines between their mission and fit. So you have the option of selecting a primary and secondary category. However, we will only pull prizes based on the primary category. So if you are in 2 categories, please make sure that your primary category is the one that you want your prize pool to come from. Also, please note this is optional. This is not something that you have to pick or select. It's just another way for you to actually have more, have donors search for you in the search bar on the homepage. Let's see. Yes, I can share corporate sponsors in just a moment, Robbie. Okay. So early giving will actually begin April 5th, 2021. So basically what this means is that donors can log into Give STL Day and make a donation in real time. In real time, the credit card will be charged that day. And actually, so that way that donors are not actually saving donors' credit card information actually in the platform. Also, during that particular time, there will be a prize, and you will be eligible for early giving prize during that time frame. However, please note that the donation will not show on the ticker until Give STL Day. So if I'm a donor and I decide that I want to go give on April 7th or April 15th, I can get charged that actual day on the credit card and on the statement. It will say the St. Louis Community Foundation on their credit card statement if you should get questions. Sometimes donors get a little confused because they know they donated to a particular nonprofit, but we just funnel the actual funds through the Community Foundation and we write you a check. So you'll get all the donations, but just so you know, that's how that will show up on credit card statements. Okay. Laura has a question. She doesn't understand the pull from in terms of like the categories. Okay. So could you go back one slide? Okay. So basically what this means when we pull prizes, it's a random generator on the day. So we have prizes from, let's say we have a prize from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And in that prize category, and we will release the prize schedule. It's not actually complete yet. We usually don't release the prize schedule until like mid to late March. But basically what it does is it says like this, you are a micro nonprofit. If you get the most donations in an hour, you can win a prize. And so you're put into a prize pool and we will randomly pick, sometimes it's random, but sometimes if it's the most dollars raised or the most donors or most unique donors, that's how you'll win that prize. So we actually, the Community Foundation staff, myself, Emily, and another teammate of ours, will go through and actually look at the reports and actually see what nonprofit raised the most dollars in that particular category. And then we'll also see who has the most unique donors. And so we alternate every hour between micro, small, medium, and large. So that way it gives everybody an opportunity to actually win a prize on that day. So like I said, we have 24 hours of the giving, but we have $1,000 hourly prizes. We're working on end of day prizes. Again, this is contingent upon sponsorship dollars. In previous years, we've had a couple that only wanted to support specific categories, like Purina wanted to do animal nonprofits, Missouri Foundation for Health wanted to do a health nonprofit, and so on. So as we get those sponsorships in, we'll let you know. We'll also do 2 early donations prize. So this will be the most dollars raised between April 5th and May 5th. So if you want to have a strategy between April 5th and May 5th, you can actually try to win $500 each. And so that particular prize, though, you can win an early donation prize and an hourly prize. We'll also do a first and last donation prize at $500 each. So you could win 1 early donation prize, you can win 1 first or last donation prize, and an hourly prize. So you actually have 3 opportunities throughout the day to actually win. A couple questions. With early giving, will we be notified as donors make contributions? I know it won't show on the ticker, but will we be able to see the contributions on our page? Yes. So when donors give during early giving, you will be able to log onto your dashboard on the profile and go to your donor history report. There's like a place where it says donations, and you'll be able to see every donor that has given to you on that particular day. And so then the other option, someone wants to know what a unique donor is. So a unique donor is a donor who has given to your organization that gets counted 1 time. So if I decide I'm going to give to a nonprofit 10 times, you can't game the system. We will only count that at one time. So even though your donor may give to you a couple times during a particular hour, it will only get counted once. Now, if they gave during 1 hour, let's say between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., and then they wanted to give later in the day between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., yes, those are that would be a unique donor for that particular hour. All right. The other question. So how do the prizes correlate to primary and secondary like categories? What's NTE? I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so I think I understand this. So the prize category, in terms of how we identify that, your primary category is what we will use to pull for mission category options. So if we have any specific sponsors that are related to animals or health or human services, and you select, like, your main category is human services, but you put it as your secondary, you won't be considered for that prize pool. So whatever you want to be considered for in terms of a prize, please be sure that it's on your primary category. Yes, you will receive an email if someone donates early. That question came in. You will get that as long as you're set up in the system to actually receive those notifications. So when you add users, or when users are put into the system, you can have as many users as you want. Just make sure that they're signed up to actually receive those emails so you can thank them early or do whatever you need to do to steward those donors. All right. So also we have power hours throughout the day. So this is how we do the power hours. I believe there's 6 power hours. I think we may have added 1, so 6 or 7. And this is a matching funds formula that we use, that our finance team actually uses on the day. It kind of helps us with our reconciliation process to make it fair. So what we do is we take the nonprofit total and divide it by how much money is actually raised in that particular hour, and then multiply it by the prize incentive. So here's an example. If your organization, these are just really whole number examples, to give you an idea. If your organization raises $1,000 within that power hour time frame, but in that hour, as a collective, all the nonprofits that are getting donations on that day, we raise $50,000. What we'll do is we'll take $1,000, divide it by 50, and then we multiply it by the amount in the prize pool. Now, after that, that's how much you get in your share of the prize dollars. This is a really large example, but in terms of like how this is broken down, this is how we use the formula. Last year, I mean, we had 1 hour that made like over $100,000. And so the more money that's raised within an hour in the time period, obviously that incentive will go down, but you will get a spreadsheet that will show you exactly how much of a lift your donor actually, that donation actually gave you as an organization. So the reason why we use this formula, if you could go to the next slide, please. The reason why we use this formula is that it's a weighted formula and it's more proportional. It's less confusing for the donors and you and your nonprofits if you want to explain that to your donors. I don't know if, I haven't gotten any feedback that donors actually ask how that's figured, but we do think it's easier to message. It definitely helps us reconcile our process so that we all can cut your checks and get your dollars to you faster. Our finance teams works diligently to get through this and has to go through every line by line on that 20,000 line spreadsheet to get to be able to get you your dollars the most quickly and efficient way. It does give opportunity for donors to give more. So if you have a donor that, you know, the minimum donation is $10, but if you have a donor who's going to give 10 and they give through a power hour, they might be able to get $10.50, or you might be able to get $11 or $12. It just really depends on how many donors and donations we get throughout that hour. It also gives donors more time to donate throughout the day. And we used to cap the power hours at $500, where if a donor actually gave $500 or more, or I'm sorry, $501 or more, they were not eligible to get any prize incentives. So we took that away so that we could stretch more dollars over that course of an hour. And the other community foundations do this same formula, or we've worked with them to kind of figure out how that actually happens for them. So really, it's just a formula that we use to kind of help you all throughout the day. And if we get more sponsorship dollars, we could raise our prize incentive pool from 20,000 to 25,000. So again, that just kind of goes along with our fundraising strategy. So these are the power hours from 2020, but they will be the same ones from 2021. So nothing has changed. We used to only do 5. We added in the 10 p.m. last year. And the hour that had the least amount of donations was actually the 6 a.m. hour. So basically what that means is that less people gave, so you got more money of that $20,000, more portions of that. The hour that had the most donations last year was the 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. hour, followed by, I believe, it was the 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. hour. So we typically use that on the back end of the spreadsheet, and that's how we figure out the prize incentives. So what nonprofits can only win 1 hourly prize, but you all can definitely win an early giving prize or a first and last donation prize. So if you win the first donation prize, you can't win the last donation prize. And let me tell you, last year we were at that spreadsheet and we were actually looking to see who gave at like 12:01 on the dot, or like 11:59.8. Like we went specific, like really, really fine tuned there. I believe it was Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition who got that last year. But we definitely had to go in and actually like look at the report to see who gave during those times. So to make it fair, so just so you know, we do look at the reports to definitely to make sure that we're pulling the right information in the right nonprofits. And we've done pretty well over the years. So, all right, so here's another way that we definitely encourage nonprofits to maximize their donations. We've seen this last year and the year before was huge for nonprofits. Find some matching donors so that way you can actually have matching funds to start your day. Go ahead, if you could slide. Okay, so one thing that really, really works well is if you secure multiple matches from donors. So if you have a donor that wants to match $1,000, and then you have another donor who wants to match another $1,000, you can layer your matches. We won't track that for you. You will have to track that. Don't send your match dollars to us. Don't have your donors send that to us. Make sure that they send that directly to you. The matching dollars can definitely make your donations go further. It will help you in your messaging. It will help you definitely get donors to let them know that they can match dollar for dollar. My recommendation is to secure matches as early as possible. We can actually promote the match on their Give STL, on your Give STL Day profile. So if a donor goes there and they see that you have a match and you're only $10 away, they can actually make that donation right then, and it will show in real time. Again, matches and all of that won't apply to your ticker until the actual giving day. So here are some tips. I would recommend that you reach out to some of your key donors and definitely your board members to help you with the match. Some people do board member matching campaigns and use Give STL Day as a way for for board members to actually make contributions to their organizations if that's a requirement of your board. And also, no match is too small. Give STL Day is meant to be a day where anybody can be a philanthropist and give. So even if you have a donor who's willing to give you $100, take it, especially if it's giving you an opportunity to raise more funds and to get your name out there. One thing that we've seen people do over the years is they can make, you can name your match to make the donors feel like they're a part of something. So this is something that you would do on your marketing strategy, like double your dollars, Hunger Bucks, whatever, something that's relatable to your mission. And I would recommend set deadlines early so that you can get your timely response. So going into Give STL Day what matches you have. You can update this up until the giving day as well as on the actual day. So you'll be able to go in and include your match. If you don't secure it, let's say you don't secure it till a couple days before the actual giving day, don't worry. The system, even though the system, we're going to lock it down, probably I think April 26th is when the registration closes. So we'll likely close it that day or the day after. So you have time to do that, but you will be able to put in match dollars and goal amounts and things of that sort. So it'll be a little bit locked down, but it's okay. All right. Next question. Is it okay for the match donor to donate through the Give STL Day platform? It is okay, but I don't recommend it because what ends up happening is there's fees associated with it, and then you won't get it as quickly as you would if the donor gave directly, like wrote you a check and gave to you directly. However, if you want your donor to do a match through the system for like the power hour or something like that, you can do that. So it just really depends on what your strategy is. And I would recommend that you encourage your donors to cover the fees. That is an option for donors to do that. So that way you get the full donation amount. The credit card fees and the platform processing fees will come out of the donations for everyone that actually donates on the day. So setting an event goal. So this is something on your actual profile that you can do. So let's just say you decide that you are fundraising and you want to raise $10,000 on your on Give STL Day. That is the event goal. You need that for a program. So basically what you can do is you can put that onto your platform. And how this works, let's say you have an event goal and a match. So during the event, the first $500 you raise will be matched 1-to-1. And so basically what that will do is if you have a match and an event goal, and this example uses $1,000 and $500, you basically, if you reach your event goal and your match, you will definitely get, you met your goal of $1,000. So basically what it does is it takes what you do. If you got the match of 500 and your event goal was 1,000, it will show that you actually that you reached your event goal. You can update your event goal on the day. So let's say on the day that you actually have, you reached your $10,000 goal and you're like, but wait, we still want people to actually donate to us. You can go in and say, hey, I want to make it 15,000. So you have that opportunity to do that as well. So I just want you to know that, because that was a question that we had last year that was a little confusing for people. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get into, are there any questions in the chat? I did not check.
I'm looking, okay, so, all right, this is the brand. Okay, are the names, contact information retained by the Community Foundation so that we understand stats and trends for our community? So what we do is we do not release any donor information to any nonprofit. What we do have a recap report that we can post. We'll post it in our collaborative community and on our resources page on the back end. And what we do is that's basically, like you said, it has trends and stats for the entire day for the community. Does this Community Foundation information help guide any of the nonprofits about strategic partnerships for grants, larger asks for those who are passionate about supporters of a few agency type messages? Okay. So basically what we do is we provide that information for you to use, and you can choose to use it how you want to. What we've done in the past is we've used that to actually just show the impact that we've had in the community. We have not worked specifically with nonprofits to do any type of strategic planning around any of that. However, if that's something that you're interested in, or if you want to have a conversation with me about, what we have done in the past, I'd be more than happy to actually do that with you. But what we do is we really try to use that information to actually go towards sponsors to raise just for the day in general. However, we do recognize that there are a ton of sponsors that you all actually work with, so we don't like to duplicate, but sponsors will let us know if they already support a particular nonprofit, which is totally fine. So if you want to talk a little bit more about that, I'm happy to do so. The next question is, what credit cards are you accepting this year? Asking specifically about American Express. To this point, we still are not accepting American Express. We're trying to figure that out, but if anything changes, we'll let you guys know. American Express has a lot of different nuances in terms of actually like going through the reconciliation process, how long it takes to refund. So there's just a little bit more complication there. So we have chosen not to accept that. However, our CFO and our accounting department could change their mind, but if we do, and if anything changes, we'll definitely let you know. Okay, so Emily, you can go ahead.
Okay, so now we're going to get into your nonprofit dashboard within your profile. There are some updates to the nonprofit dashboard. So when you log into your nonprofit profile, you will see this page. And on the left here, you'll see the announcements, which will have key dates and milestones. Right now, it's showing a new feature, which is Neon Raise, where you can view your donations and fundraisers that donors create for your nonprofit. In the middle, these blue bubbles will show important event dates, and you can hover over them to make them bigger and show more text if they have any. This will be updated with training dates and whatnot, so be sure to check it. In the top right-hand corner, it will show your status. So it might say filling out your profile or needs updates. So just pay attention to that if you have not already registered and been approved. These boxes at the bottom are new, and they just show you your event goal process, matching funds secured if you have any, early giving donations progress, and your fundraising page progress. So that's just a new feature where you can just see everything all in one place, which is great.
I also want to note too that the reason why they Neon One and Civicor, Neon One actually added the new features at the bottom is that there was some feedback around nonprofits wanting to be able to see analytical data quickly. So this will definitely be a place for you to look at on your day, so you don't have to actually go in and click and pull reports and look to see how you're doing. So if you have a user or if you're a registered user on the back end as an administration access to your nonprofit portal, everyone will be able to see that for you.
Thank you. Right, so once you're logged into your profile, you'll see the navigation bar at the top. And your public profile or my public profile is the second option on the nav bar. This is where you'll add all your organization's information that will appear on your public profile. In the tab bar on the left, you can add multimedia, so any videos and images you want people to see on your profile. You can add any volunteer needs your organization has. And the documents tab, the second to the bottom, is not public. You don't have to add anything there. If you have documents that you want people to see on your public profile, we recommend adding them as pictures on the multimedia section. So if you click overview on the sidebar, this is where you add users, organization information, fill out your mission, your about us. This is where you will see the users associated with your profile. Please let us know if you want any users removed or if someone is no longer with your organization. We know that there's a lot of turnover in development and communications, and we just want to make sure that you have the right users in your account so that any updates or emails are going to the correct people. So if you scroll down in that overview tab, you will see these options to add more text to your public facing profile. At the top, you see alert text. This is new, and it will show up on your public facing profile at the top in red, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. You can also add your mission statement, more about us, testimonials, and keywords is also new. Add keywords that relate to your organization. It's like a Google search. So if someone searches for dogs or animals in the search bar in GiveSTL.org and you added dogs as one of your keywords, your organization will pop up. So it's just another way for people to search and see your organization. And I mentioned before that the resource center is on your dashboard. It's the last tab over. I have it circled here. This is where the Community Foundation and Neon One adds helpful resources for all of you to use. The first box that says Give STL Day resources are resources that we created specifically for Give STL Day nonprofit. So if you click that box, it will take you to the Dropbox page that I put in the chat. And these other options were created by Neon Giving Days and are more general best practices and articles. The second box, the Nonprofit Resource Center, offers a glossary of key terms that you might run into on the back end. So I encourage you all to look through that. And I'll be updating the resources regularly, so be sure to check back. So this is what all the information you added in your profile will look like to the public. Like I said, the alert text shows up here in this red-orange color. And the images and videos you added will appear here in the tiled outlay. It's just an engaging way to show people more what you do and how you help the community. So we recommend adding images. You'll see the fundraise button here, which is what donors can click on to create personal fundraisers for your organizations. Events will show up here. So if you have any events throughout the year that you want people to know about, you can put them there. The volunteer, and then any other needs that your organization might have. And then if you scroll down on your public profile, you'll see more about us and the testimonials. Okay, so now I'm going to get into personal fundraisers, which in previous years we called campaigns, but the language has changed, but it's the same thing. Donors can create their own fundraisers for any nonprofits that they want. I also know that some nonprofits create fundraisers for their own organizations if they have specific initiatives they want to highlight. We just want to let you guys know, if you're creating a fundraiser for your nonprofit, you should use a different email from the one you use on your Give STL Day nonprofit account. This is just a way to differentiate between the fundraiser and nonprofit dashboards, so make sure you're using a different email. There's also going to be a specific peer-to-peer fundraiser training given by Neon One that will go into a lot more detail about fundraisers. So if you still have questions or you're a little bit confused about it, that will help you out a lot, and it's on March 3rd. So make sure to register for that. And there's also a page on givestl.org that walks through these steps that I'm going to talk about if you need to go back and look at them. So fundraisers are similar to GoFundMe type fundraisers or fundraisers on Facebook. Donors will have the opportunity to create a custom web page with images, videos, and testimonials. They can share it with their friends via social media and email, and ask their personal networks to help them reach their fundraising goal. Nonprofits do not have to approve fundraisers, but you can remove them if you want to. So be sure to check if anyone has created fundraisers for your organization. Fundraisers can be created by board members, local celebrities. So if you want to create a fundraiser for a specific animal at your shelter, you can call it Buddy's Give STL Day fundraiser or something like that, as another way to draw people into it. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through the steps of creating a fundraiser. So step one, donors will choose an organization to support, and they'll click that fundraiser button that the red arrow is pointing to. This will take them to the page where they can personalize their fundraiser. They can use the editing tool on the left here to adjust their fundraiser title, their fundraiser goal, their logo. And once they make all their edits, they will click Save and Publish and be led to the Neon Giving Days login page, where they will log in or create a profile. So this is where, if you're a nonprofit creating a fundraiser for yourself, you'll use a different email than the one on your account. And then the donors will see this, and this is just helping them to personalize their campaign more and make it successful, like adding a URL or setting a goal if they haven't already, or writing a specific story about why they wanted to do a fundraiser for that nonprofit. When they're finished, they can share their fundraiser on social media or via email, and this will pop up, so it makes it really easy for them to share it with anyone. And like I said, there is a fundraiser page on givestl.org that walks through these steps, and I'll put that in the chat just in case anyone needs to go back.
All right, there is a question. So if someone has created a campaign last year, will that be there, or do they have to create a brand new one? Yes, they will have to create brand new campaigns. They all were taken away from the system. However, you should still have access to the data from the donor data from last year if you participated last year. Is this fundraiser peer-to-peer tool for a longer time window than just Give STL Day? It is not typically. We have teetered with the idea of trying to figure out if we should use our platform year-round. But right now it's not available after the Give STL Day just because we don't have capacity right now. But in the survey that we send out, we could include a question that asks about, if this is something that you would be interested in year-round, and that we could try to figure out if that's a way that we can handle that internally. But right now it is not set up to be used past Give STL Day. Oh, and one more thing to note. On the fundraisers that you create, anyone can donate to any fundraiser during that early giving phase. So that month before Give STL Day and on the actual Give Day. Leah asks, is there a way to save the campaign so that one doesn't need to start from a blank page when registering from year to year? I believe so. If you log into your system, if you look under you'd have to look into the nonprofit the actual dashboard and see if it's actually saved from last year, because you might have that campaign data. There may be an option to duplicate or recreate that. I'm not entirely sure, but if we can look at that at the end of the training if you'd like to, Leah, or if there's a way that we will have an actual peer-to-peer actual training session around all the fundraisers, where I think the Neon One technology will actually walk through the system and saved. So more to come. Sign up for that training. Okay. So now we'll talk about the donation and checkout process. So basically this process is similar to how you would go online and make a purchase on an e-commerce site or Amazon or anything like that. The way that we accept donations, we only accept donations on givestl.org. We cannot accept donations through your website. We cannot accept donations through Facebook fundraisers or anything like that. So if you want any donors and your dollars to count towards anything on the Give STL day, the final number, your final ticker, your prizes and incentives, it has to be given at givestl.org. We get a ton of people get really confused around how to donate, especially when Facebook basically started their own fundraisers. We're not associated with that, and we have no access to Facebook fundraisers. So the events, if you have events, virtual events or in-person events that actually collect money on the day or for Give STL Day, you can accept those donations during the early giving period as well as during on the day. I would definitely recommend that you ask your donors to cover the fees. Most donors covered the fees last year. Around 90% of our donations that came through, donors actually covered the fees, so people understand that there are credit card costs that cover that come along with making donations online. And this is really, really important. Please, please, please note, the Community Foundation will send tax receipts to every donor who gives on Give STL Day. As soon as their donation and transaction goes through and is approved on the system, they get an email from us with all the tax language that they need. The tax receipt does not come from the nonprofit. The tax receipt does not come from the nonprofit because you are not directly receiving the donation. So they get the donation and then they can actually put that in their records. If a donor cannot find their receipt, there is an option on the site, and it will stay up there for donors to receive their tax receipts from Give STL Day for 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2018 for as long as we've had this new system. So if donors are calling you, because April Gives Day is right after tax time, so if donors are calling you asking you for receipts, you can direct them to the Give STL Day website, and if they still have trouble, you can direct them directly to us. Do the tax receipts have pretty thank you language and a smiley heart emoji? We are going to edit our tax language documents. They are pretty standard, but we are going to try to edit that to be able to put some more information about the giving day on there. But thank you. I think I will include a smiley face. So on your actual donation, on your dashboard and on your public profile, when donors are going through the system, you have an option to actually create donation levels to highlight impact. I do recommend doing this just because it gives people a starting point of where you want them to actually donate. So if your organization, for example, this is the St. Louis Area Food Bank example. I don't remember if I really made this up or if they gave me the information, but for example, for every $1 donated, the food bank can provide 4 meals for the Bi-State region. So the amount would be $10 and the label would say feeds 40 families. So it gives you a starting point. You don't have to, this is also optional, but just note that if you have donation levels on there, please note that there is an option to customize and add their own option. So then there's a question in the chat. If a donor gives through their fund at the Community Foundation and directs the gift to our organization, can we be notified of those when they are received by the Community Foundation rather than after the fact? Yeah, so what we do at the foundation, just our processes, if you do have a donor who gives through a fund, they will let us know, and there'll be a grant recommendation that'll come through us. It'll get processed through our system, and what we typically do, our donor services team will email and notify the organization of that gift before the giving day. And so it won't show on your particular profile because it's a manual donation entry. And so what will happen is you'll get a separate check from the Community Foundation with that amount. It will not be included because you'll get those dollars faster than it will take for us to reconcile. So you will know beforehand, and you will have an opportunity to do that. Your donor, if they have a fund at the foundation, they can choose to actually give on the website as well. If you want them, if they would like to do that during a power hour. Right now, we don't really have a way to link a fund to the prize incentive. That is something that I believe Neon One is trying to work on. There's a way to enter the information, but there's no way for us to actually put that in our prize incentive, unfortunately. We are exploring that. Another question is, does the thank you letter include the charity name that they are given to? Yes. It will include the amount of the donation, when they made the donation, and the name of the charity, as well as the community foundation's tax identification and information. All right. So the checkout process, it's the same as last year, or if in terms of like how you check out on a regular website or e-commerce site. So you'll go to the, this is just an example, you'll go to a nonprofit, and as you can see, there are donation amounts there. It looks like this example has a $50 at family training, $100 at mobility equipment, and then like, I think that's $250 for 5 meals for a family. What this does is it gives donors an opportunity to have an entry point at a higher donation amount, if that makes sense. And we tested this a couple years ago with, we do ask at the donation page, would you like to make a donation to the Give STL Day Fund for the following year? And it's like $1, $2, or $3 is what we did. And what we noticed is that when we selected to use $2 instead of $1, more donors were more apt to select $2 instead of $1. So kind of like give your donor a starting point of where you want them to donate first. Even though the minimum donation is $10, they can still enter another, like a different amount though. So then they'll go through this process. It'll take them through the cart. It'll tell them exactly how much it is in terms of the donation amount. And they can give change. They don't have to just always, they don't always have to give like whole dollar amounts. This example, there's a stretch fund. That's if they want to donate to the Gives Day 2022 fund. We use those dollars go right back into our prize incentive pool. And then after you're going to kind of go through the cart and the checkout process, you'll hit continue. If the donor has a Gives Day account, they can log in at this point, or they can continue as a guest and make their donation, but they will ask for an email address so that way they can get their donation receipt. And a donor can log in before they actually start to select their multiple nonprofits. They will ask for billing and credit card information, typical billing first name and last name, and go through. American Express is not going to be a part of that, so we will take that out of the little imagery at the bottom. And then after that, they'll get the donation has been processed, and it'll say thank you. And then they have an option that they can actually print their receipt if they want to, or it actually will go to their email. And so just, there is a question, is the $2-ish gift also carry the credit card fee? So the minimum donation for the Give STL Day is $10. The $2 gift, if they decide to actually make a donation to the community foundation, yes, the fee is taken out of that. So it's just a matter of if the donor decides to cover the fees, it all kind of equates out. So that's why we recommend we highly recommend that donors actually cover the fees for you. And just so you are aware, yes, we will send thank you letters to donors for tax purposes. However, that does not mean that you don't send a thank you to your donors. Just don't include tax information. There's so many times when we get donors that say that they haven't heard and haven't been thanked from the nonprofit that they donated to on the day. We send a thank you for tax purposes. It's not all warm and fuzzy. It doesn't talk about the mission. It's not anything that is a stewarding process. It is literally just for record keeping purposes for when they file their taxes. So also please note too, I believe with the tax law changes and things like that, I believe it's $300 still that you can claim on your taxes and get that tax credit back. I know that could be an incentive too for some who may not be in a position to give. I know when they did that, they made that change, I believe last year, I was able to give more. It prompted me to give a little bit more. All right, so moving on. So if you were here in 2016, we had a whole platform meltdown. We were under a new platform. We were under the platform Kimbia. If you were in here in 2016, put in the chat. Yes, I remember this. It was terrible. It was so terrible. But anyway, so the requirement for that is that we are requiring, could you go to the next slide, please? We are requiring that we are encouraging, how about that, that you should and you should absolutely have an alternate form of accepting payments. Should it actually happen, technology is only great when it actually works. We have been in this virtual setting, so I think that people actually are kind of used to this by now, but you need to be able to accept some other form of payment. PayPal, your website, Cash App, Venmo, it doesn't matter. Because if something happens and the site goes down, the nonprofit, your donors won't be able to give through our system, but we still want them to be able to give to you. So that's where this planning and contingency planning is important for your organization. Have backup plans, just in case. Now, the Community Foundation has a contingency plan. We work with a technology provider. They have about 2 or 3 fail safes just in case the main site actually goes down for a certain amount of time. And if that happens, we will be in constant communication with you on what's happening. We cross our fingers and we hope that that does not happen. We have had great success since we moved over to this new platform. So just be on the just be aware of that just in case something like that happens. So here are the rules and regulations for the training. So all gifts made during Give STL Day must be, and they have to be 100% tax deductible. You cannot offer premium for gifts made during an event. So you cannot give gifts for donations. You cannot promise anything, no goods or services for their donations on the day. If you want to send a sticker or a postcard or something as a stewardship option for your donors, feel free to do that after the day. You cannot offer tax credits to donors on Give STL Day because the donor is not given to your organization. They're given to the Community Foundation, and that just won't work for us. Also, too, we have to go through a reconciliation process. So as soon as the giving day is over, we actually go through and we process any refunds that may go through. We also have to go through and reconcile all the prizes and award the incentives and all of that. So it takes us about a good month to actually go through every single donation to get you your checks. We really, really work hard to get you your checks by June 30th. We recognize that that is definitely hard for some because you're on your fiscal year calendars. So we really try hard to do that as quickly as possible. We're trying to speed up that process for you, but please, please be patient with us. There are only a few of us and hundreds of you. All right, so here are key dates to remember. So March 30th is when nonprofit registration edits will close. We do that because early giving starts on on April 5th. So we need a couple days to make sure that every organization in the system has a URL on their profile that you create, that you have users who can accept your information, that basically your dashboard is filled out as much as possible, because those are the way that we pull reports, and we actually can communicate with the nonprofits to know what you guys still need. We ask that all your fundraisers be complete on May 5th, which is the day before the giving day. So that way you know what to expect on the day, and your campaign people or your ambassadors, volunteers, whoever are having these fundraisers can actually start to promote it. And you can make fundraisers today if you want. We have a couple that are live on the site right now. Give STL Day is May 6th, and then on June 30th, Give STL Day checks will be mailed to you all. So we have our next Give STL Day training. It's Fearless Fundraising by how to ask for and receive what you want, need, and deserve without feeling rejected, ineffective, or pushy. It's Thursday, February 25th. It's going to be by Marianne Dersh, and you can register for the training for it at givestlday.org. It is a free training. All of the Give STL Day trainings are free. However, we do have some partnerships. One of the trainings that we work with, one of the partners is Nonprofit Marketers Network of St. Louis. And this one is not free. They do have a small virtual fee to attend. It is virtual, but it's Dancing Outside the Box, Innovative Marketing in Time of Crises. I encourage you to attend this one. It's Tuesday, February 16th, but also take a look at all the additional trainings that we have to offer as well. Because what we try to do is really offer trainings that go beyond the giving day and not just the giving day itself. This year, I think we have trainings on endowments. We have trainings on how to write an effective grant writing 101. And then we try to really promote the other, with our other partnerships, their trainings as well. All right, so if you still have questions, I'm going to stay on. We actually have this slated to 11:30. Emily and I will be on to answer questions, or if you want to post things in the chat or come on video, we can talk through some things. If there's things you guys want to see on the actual website, we can share our screens and go through. The deadline for the fundraisers are May 5th, the day before the Gives Day. So you have some time to actually do that. Yes. Well, reminders we send out for the highlight dates. Absolutely. We send tons and tons of emails. So make sure that you are registered for our newsletter. We also try to pull reports for all of the organizations in the system to make sure that we're emailing everyone. However, sometimes some of the users don't want all of our communications because we do tend to over communicate, if that's a thing. So yeah, so does anyone else have any questions? What is keeping you up at night? Okay, question. If someone creates a personal campaign, can people give to this before Give Day when early giving begins? Or is the personal campaign only accessible on Give STL Day? Yes, people can give early during the early giving period on a personal fundraising campaign. Absolutely. Anyone else have any other questions? Anything at all? No? No? Maybe? Maybe. Has everyone went and found the Facebook group? Because that's a place, so that's another place I wanted to highlight too, the Facebook group. Often we're on Facebook a lot, basically throughout the day. Emily manages our social media, and so we try to respond to you. We can probably get to us quicker on Facebook through email just because we have a funneling system of how we get the info at emails. So that's also meant for you all to talk to each other. So if you have recommendations or you want other feedback from any other participants or anything that are participating, it's really meant to be collaborative community. So use it to your advantage if you want to talk to other people. Any other questions?
Someone asked, will this program be available online since it was recorded? Yeah, we will make this program available to you all. We'll post it in the Facebook group and send it out in an email, and also post it on the Resource Center so you can all go back and watch it if needed.
Yep, and we'll send the slides too. We'll probably send it out via email once the recording is available.
Yep.
Yes, so the chat, absolutely. The chat, I believe once we save the recording, the chat feature will show up in the actual recording.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Gary. You're welcome. Yeah, we're really here for a resource for you. So if you guys need anything or want to talk through things, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We're around, virtually around.
So follow us on social media at St. Louis Gives. We post updates there as well. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at St. Louis Gives. And make sure you also use the hashtag Give STL Day if you're posting about Gives Day, just because it's really easy for me to find you all and share anything that you post.
Oh, this is a good question. If I've applied for a grant through your organization, do I need to set up a separate account for Gives Day? That is a good question. Absolutely, you definitely have to do that. So our grant software is not linked to Give STL Day. However, our grant administrator of that sometimes will send communication to the nonprofits about Give STL Day as another touch point. So if you have applied through the community foundation or to the community foundation through our Founded, or I don't remember the name of the grant system, I think it's Founded, you definitely need to create a different account so they're not linked together. It would be great if they did, but they're two different companies. Anybody else? Anybody else? So hopefully this was helpful. We don't have anything else for you today, but we'll stay on for 15 minutes if anyone wants to chat and have any other questions. Oh, you guys are most welcome. Yeah, it's your first Gives Day. B, what organization are you with? Emily, you can stop recording now.